3 years. 3 years, and we finally got it. And what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. I'm going to go into what I thought about it, but we're talking about Batman versus Superman, and you haven't even said that bit yet. So now we're talking about a spoilers review of Batman versus Superman, where the box office results are already out. Most of you have seen it, but also most of you have been deterred from seeing it because of trolls.
Wait. What about the Americans? Have they saw the movie?
Of course they saw it. They saw it before we did.
Oh.
But either way is that a lot of people on the internet have been telling other people just that it's bad, it sucks, don't go see it, and without giving them a reason why.
For you, and this is the reason why that is all like not true.
Well, yeah, we're gonna go into our theory of why, or my theory of why I think that a lot of people are upset, but I mainly want to first attack the trolls first. Right, so, what it is first of all, Marvel, we love Marvel, right? Marvel's been around for like 2000, been around for 15 years now, very successfully making excellent movies, fantastic slate of films that they have coming up for us. We're totally looking forward to it. DC has just gotten into the game with Man of Steel, and Man of Steel had its positives and negatives to it, but it was also just a start. Now, Batman vs. Superman is coming, and as you said,
no,
3 years.
Oh yeah, 3 years.
So, as Batman vs. Superman is coming, and then you said
3 years.
3 years is finally here, and it's here as the dawn of justice, which means that they plan on setting up the DC universe, and I think that they're doing a good job. This has nothing to do with the DC TV universe, which is already fantastic.
Bye, Grant Gustin.
What do you mean bye, Grant Gustin?
I don't know.
You mean hi, Grant Gustin? You mean because you love Grant Gustin?
Yeah, I do, but like,
well,
he's not in this. And
that's only because...
And that's making me upset.
Yeah, well, that is because the movie universe and the TV universe are two totally different universes, okay? Just like Crisis on Infinite
There's
Earths.
a new Flash in town.
Right, there's new Flash in town. And why do we know this? Is because, spoilers, we're going to get Flash in BVS. So, now, first of all, did you like the movie?
Well, I would say in the first hour I was confused, but in the second hour I finally got my head around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Makes sense.
But also, too, is that being that you are a fan of the comics or the cartoons and all that, especially the TV universe, you didn't know, that Gal Gadot was actually Wonder Woman.
No, I didn't.
So, that's because he didn't know.
Until Bruce Wayne was like looking on his computer and like with his detective.
Alright, don't jump ahead. Either way is you didn't know, right? Once you found out, then you go, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Alright, exactly. So, what do we have here? We have a spoilers review of Batman vs. Superman. So,
Don't love dresses.
because this is a spoilers review, we keep saying spoilers so that way people know. When I was trying to avoid the internet all weekend, because we didn't go on Friday like we would have normally done. It is now Monday. And, it's now Monday. So the box office results are out as well. So it's doing very well financially. But what it is that I just took a peek into my favorite, show, the Collider Movie Talk, and I saw Zack Snyder had a response, and I shouldn't have looked at it. And first thing he said was,
Superman's dead! Superman's dead. He died, didn't he?
Yeah. Well,
That's that. Okay.
Spoilers. So
It should have been like a spoiler.
that made my heart sink. And so I told that, I said, okay, but I'm gonna keep it going, keep an open mind.
Yeah.
So when we're in the theater waiting for the movie to start, right? Jackie says, I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah. And then like you told me, and then I was like, okay.
No. That's not what you did. Act like you be. So whisper in my ear. What did I say to you?
Like
I don't care about spoilers.
Superman said, and I was like, and then basically, and then I was like, okay, because that makes sense, because in the comics, like, didn't like Doomsday kill him or something in the comics or something?
Yes, he did, and I'm gonna
and
get to that.
And he temporarily died, and then like, but I'll be honest, watching a movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at that scene where Superman died, I
Mhm.
completely forgot that you told the spoiler because of everything.
Because you're trying to say it still hit you when he died.
Yeah. So like,
And that is what I'm trying to say is a good movie.
I completely
Anything that
forgot.
has an emotional impact is a good movie. So it hits you when he died.
Yeah, I didn't. I completely forgot. It was like, oh yeah, he died.
I had a tear in my eye.
I didn't have any tears.
All right. Well, anyway. So now, I think that really upset a lot of people. So first of all, let's get to what upset a lot of people. Now, my son, he's 12. I took him to the movie, because fathers and kids should
Plus,
go
it's
see
rated
superhero
12,
movies.
eh?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so,
Okay.
and so there was a plan that they were gonna put it in 2015, but they didn't because of the whole Avengers Age of Ultron thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So technically, I'm kind of glad that they didn't put it in 2015
then
because
really
I would be 11.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm young.
So the movie's dark, right? It's dark, and so from the opening, it's dark, and for the first half an hour, you're kind of like, what's the tone of this movie? This feels like a horror movie to me
I know.
with superheroes,
And
and
like a jump scare.
actually that made it kind of interesting for me because then. I mean, I don't want to say it felt like Fantastic Four, but just in the sense where Fantastic Four was a body horror movie for its first half hour to an hour, and then, the tone shift. And so that was kind of like what was going on. But also, it was a completely original story. This wasn't some retread of a comic book issue that we read, so we were getting something completely new. So we were going into undiscovered country, so when you say you were confused, that's only because it wasn't following any kind of plan. We were like, what is this movie? What's it about? When are they going to get in? When are they going to fight? What's going to happen and stuff? So they were setting up a lot of story is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did from the beginning. So, first thing is, the movie Batman vs. Superman, I will say, is not Man of Steel 2. Mm-hmm. Zack Snyder said that for 3 years. This is not Man of Steel 2. There is still a Man of Steel 2 in the plan. This is not Man of Steel 2. So, to emphasize that point, not just did he get Ben Affleck's favorite writer, Chris Terrio, to rewrite the script, or add to the script, or whatever you want to call it, polish it up, but what this is Batman's movie. Period. That's what the audience did not understand. They thought, and because they didn't want to say it, right, they thought that they were going to see Superman's movie. I love that Henry Cavill. I'm going to see him fight Batman, and I'm on Superman's side. This is Batman's movie. From the first shot of the movie, in the title sequence, we get Batman's origin.
Yeah.
He is the protagonist of this film.
Even though
it opens and closes with him. He is his movie. When people say that Ben Affleck is going to direct the Batman movie, yes, he's going to direct the second Batman movie. This is Batman's movie. That is why it's Batman versus Superman. Understand? So, so that confused people of like, what are we doing here in the title sequence? Following this boy grow up and becoming the thing. Now, here's Snyder's first visual mistake. So in the origin to the title sequence of Batman, right, and Batman falls down a well, actually, because he did have conversations with Chris Nolan, who made the Dark Knight movies, it's kind of like, this is the Dark Knight, and this is the Dark Knight Rises. And he kind of took that origin where, Batman, as young Bruce Wayne, falls down a well, into the well of bats. But to make it Snyder's version, he gives Batman this epiphany, this godlike epiphany of being saved and risen up into the light by the bats. And you're kind of like going, Snyder, that's a bit much. Seriously, it's a bit much. Thankfully, Ben Affleck comes in with a voiceover to let you know it's a dream. But it's still a bit much. Now, the dreams. He's had a couple of dreams in this movie. I mean, we heard the rumor about the Nightmare Batman and all that kind of stuff. So, Bruce Wayne has several dreams in this movie. This is the first one. And I thought, well...
and I thought...
Where did that dream come from? And...
Oh.
So... that was all good. No, magically we transported here. So yeah, these dream sequences are very confusing.
Yeah,
and there's no explanation to them of like why he's having them. But we'll get to that. It's like premonition.
I'm
We'll
Lois
get to it.
Lane. I'm a man and I'm Lois Lane.
What does that got to do with it?
No. If you couldn't this dream thing, there's like this man that came out of this portal. He was like,
Don't you know that
"It's
was the
me."
Flash?
Was it really?
That was the Flash in costume. You didn't know that?
No.
I'll get to it. Anyway.
Just random person.
Random person coming out of a portal.
Yeah.
So anyway. So, Batman. So anyway, this is Batman's movie. So Bruce Wayne, you know, is now an adult, and we're now at the end of Man of Steel. So this is where, you're kind of confused. Wait, you just told us it's Batman's movie, and now we're at the end of Man of Steel. Because it's kind of like if you, here's another angle of the same ending. So we get Bruce Wayne's point of view of, oh my God, there's a big ship over Metropolis, which is across the bay, and I got a friend in that building, and it's my building, so he decides he's going to drive there, not as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne.
Did he call that friend Dad?
No, it was like Dan.
Oh, I thought it was Dad.
And again, this guy is not from the comics, so it's not a mythos character and everything, but it was supposed to be that Bruce Wayne knows everybody. Like when he saves a security guard, and he's like, boss, help me. And it's kind of like, everybody knows Bruce Wayne. You know, he knows his people. Either way is, so that's that whole big action sequence where he runs into the smoke and all that. This was excellent. It was, what was fantastic about this sequence, which again is in the part of the unevenness, but it was still excellent, is the fact that the irresponsibility of Superman and that Zod fight, it's like they're fighting, laser beams are flying out of buildings crashing and everything like that, people dying. And so one of his buildings is going down, and he's taking it personally. And so he goes in and everything, and so he goes into the big cloud of smoke, and he sees he saves a security guard, and he sees the little girl, and he says, and the idea the girl is like, where's your mother? And she's like, she's up there, and the building's half gone.
And then
oh.
Bruce feels her pain, so then she...
Yeah, because he lost, and again, that'll come up later, because he lost his parents, especially his mom, so that's what the whole Hogan scene is. I was kind of like wondering what was the source of that scene, and it played out great, and this is the thing, the trailers, they're cut really interestingly and well enough that they only give you a taste of what's coming in the movie, but they didn't give anything away. And so that scene I thought was really good. But it was also tragic the way he was on the phone with the guy and the laser beams are flying all around him. And he's like, oh God, I'm going to die, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
said some kind of prayer or whatever. Yeah, and then the building comes down. Horrible, but fantastic as far as the visual is concerned. And then we cut to 2 years later, 18 months later or something.
Yeah, 18 months later.
Yeah. So now we're after Man of Steel 2 and we're back into the Batman movie. So it's kind of like, what we're dealing with two lead characters, they're trying to show you they're across the river from each other, across the bay, Metropolis and Gotham City. And what they wanted to do was, this is still Batman's story, but we're letting you know Batman's story exists at the end of Man of Steel. Get me? Mm-hmm. So now, that becomes the impetus for him to get back into the suit and to go out and take some people down. So that whole scene where he got the guy with the brand on his chest and everything is like, Batman's angry, man. He's angry, He's always angry, though. And, he takes this guy out. Now, this scene is kind of like the next scene, is where it's like a horror movie. Because I was looking over at you, and you couldn't even watch it.
Yeah, I was like...
the cops are going into this dark building and everything, and scary music, and...
It wasn't until, after...
You were like this.
It wasn't until after the first dump truck I opened my eyes and I was like this.
Yeah, you're like, what am I scared of? Yeah, right, exactly. But so either way is that and Batman is on the ceiling at least he's not upside down, but he's trying to hide from the cop until the cop sees him and everything, so he had to jump out. And that was a good escape and everything, but that was behind the branded guy on his chest. So Clark's got the article. And he's like, yes, this we got to do something about this guy. And Perry is like, dude, go do the sports. You know what I mean? Go report on something else. Nobody cares about what's going on across the river. It's kind of like nobody cares about Jersey. Go do the sports and stuff. So then we get the reason. So now we're back onto Superman's story. and we're on to this thing where Lois is doing her adventure Lois. You know, like they're in Africa and, you know, she's in some terrorist camp. And like the thing about it was that like this scene again was what's up with the tone of this movie, right? You know, okay, I see Lois. Okay, this is all cool, but there's no happy-go-lucky here. She's in a African camp with terrorists and stuff, with a gun to the reporter's head and everything. Guy gets shot in the head. You're like, what the hell? What's going on? Right? And then it's like, you know, boom, 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 shots going all around, and the head guy looks like he looks like he's gonna do something to Lois, but no, because whatever, it's like he knows her heartbeat. You know what I mean? Superman's there in a heartbeat and stuff. But something sinister about these guys because it's like they know he's coming. You know, these other guys with sunglasses, you know, guys with sunglasses are always bad, right? So it's kind of like they leave, Superman comes, rescues Lois, and it's kind of like he gets it in the neck. Because now there's these Senate hearings, which, you know, man, I can't remember the actress's name, but you know, Holly Hunter. And some African woman, you know, casting, right? We knew she was African, you know, right? They had to dress her up as well, right? Some African woman go, hey, this that village, and you know what I mean? That's what she was talking about. You probably didn't get it.
Oh yeah.
But that's what she was talking about was like they were trying to blame Superman for like, you know, coming in and raising the village, and even though it was full of terrorists, but it wasn't. It was they all was set up by, you know, our man Lex Luthor. You know, but Lois manages to get the secret funny bullet that was in her notebook. You know, that they shot a notebook and everything. And she's like, I wonder what this bullet is. So when did she think about it? Well, she gets naked in the tub to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We're like, what's going on? Do I have to hide my kid's eyes? You know what I mean? What's happening? Lois is in a milk bath. It was like a milk bath. The water was kind of like, I mean, hey, you know what I mean? What's going on? So she's looking at the bullet, and Clark is coming home like just any old guy with the groceries.
The worst part was that I like in the front row seats in the cinema, I saw like little like 7-year-old kids, and I was like, oh my god, no.
Exactly. You know, so you're like, what's happening? Because you heard that there was some kind of, they had to trim, you know, make this PG-13 and stuff. But
12A and
and she doesn't show him the bullet. He doesn't use his super magic hearing to know that there's a bullet that she's hiding from him. And he's pretty somber, you know? And I think this is what is wrong on the tone, is that, and what people didn't expect in the movie. One is, why the hell is Clark jumping in the bath with Lois? Right?
With clothes on.
Well, yeah. And, you know, like, he is not the Boy Scout. And I was just saying to you in the car, right? What I was saying is like, you know, Captain America and Superman, they're both Boy Scouts. They're Marvel and DC versions. They're totally different. Captain America and Superman are Boy Scouts, right? You know, because they play him that way in all the TV versions of Superman. Christopher Reeve version of Superman. He's a totally good guy, unbelievably good. But the storyline of this is that you can't be all good without having some bad in you. That's what Lex Luthor says to him. You know, there's some darkness that has to be there. And so he seems to be aloof and detached. The only thing he loves is Lois and supposedly justice. Right? So, like, in that fashion is that he'll do anything for her, like raising that village. I'm pretty sure he could have did something else to free her from this guy and who had a gun to her head. But I think I wouldn't say he killed that guy, but, you know, I don't think that guy survived very well. No.
It was fast.
And he wasn't even remorseful of it. He was just like, no one will hurt you. Right? Looking at her, no one will hurt you. She's like, well, maybe I shouldn't be that important. He's like, but you are important. And then he gets into the tub, takes out the tie, then the water splashes over. So, in this universe, Superman, I guess, has no problem, you know, has no problem. Anyway, moving on. So, like, now, we're back into Batman's story. And the thing about it is, I think we got two characters running parallel. It's very hard like going back and forth, but they both are dark. So they weren't even contrasting each other. You know, there wasn't like one's light, one's dark or anything like that. They both were dark. So the first part, the first half hours of the movie, they're both dark. So then all of a sudden comes, you know, the news reports, is Superman bad? They got these Senate hearings that they were going to decide about it and everything. And then they want to introduce us to Lex Luthor. So now we got to hit to the bad guy. Now, everybody talks about Jesse Eisenberg's performance. I thought it was great. What did you think?
I was like, okay, it's...
he was evil. He was sinister. He was crazy.
Like the Joker. He was like a quirky, because like he's one of those villains who are like quirky, but just but not to be like not taken seriously.
And don't cross him either.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, you know, he definitely had that menace to him, which was excellent. He had the tone of that menace really well and everything. So he tried to play it off that he's like this psychotic, you know, kid genius, like the Facebook guy and everything. But it's like, don't mess with him. So when the senator meets up with him and he's like, well, okay, we found some kryptonite, you know, and everything, and we want to bring it over here. So we need you to like cut us a deal. And then, so she doesn't want to do it, and then, of course, her slimy guy says, whatever you need, I'll get it for you. And that was kind of like an interesting sequence that was able to truncate a lot of exposition. So he's like, okay, I need to get into the ship, Kryptonian ship. I need Zod's body, all right? And I need to get that kryptonite from India, or whatever, Indian Ocean, and on this boat. The white Portuguese.
Yeah, when the first time I saw the Indian Ocean, I was like, okay, is this really going to hint at Aquaman, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing. And we saw that shot in the trailer and all that kind of stuff. But they truncated it really well in a nice, clever, edited sequence. But I can see how that could lose you. I can see how it could lose a lot of people. So I think people were probably thinking, like, what's going on in this sequence? I don't know what's happening.
Would be like,
no, I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about It was three things that Lex Luthor asked for, you know, so that way he could create, you know, Doomsday and everything. So there was 3 things that he asked for, and the guy says, "I'll give it to you," and they did it in a great sequence. So they moving on. So anyway, so Bruce is angry, you know, because he saw Superman in that fight, you know, with the Man of Steel thing. So he's been plotting ever since, like a detective. So, and I'm hoping that they really do that with the Ben Affleck movie, Batman, is to play more on the detective side, because he did a lot of that. You know, did a lot of like, kind of like talking with Jeremy Irons as Alfred. And I loved how Alfred was always kind of like hinting at, you know, you need to, you're never going to have kids, are you? You know what I mean? And it's like, he was kind of like, maybe you ought to go out, you know, meet somebody. Like, that's going to happen. You know?
Like Catwoman.
No, but that's what he said to him. That's what he was doing his asides. So then, when
watching the film, I was like, okay, so it was like, so it's Alfred basically like Robin. And
no, he's Alfred.
I know, but like he was like the Robin. And
he was like the sidekick in a way, but he was pretty much the Alfred Lucius Fox. He was everything. You know, they both are old men now. You know, the Robins are gone and all that kind of stuff. And like so Alfred was like the doctor, the scientist, the mechanic. He was the co-pilot. He was everything. So anyway, so Alfred says, okay, look, you know, I got you these tickets to Lex Luthor's party, and that's now finally we're bringing our 2 main guys together, and when they come together, so does Diana Prince, who you didn't know was Wonder Woman. Now she was hot. She was good. And this is where I mean, like John Campier, you know, I love him to death. But when he was like, she only has 18 lines if you add them up. She's in the movie, man. She's in the movie, and she does really good in this movie. You know, I mean, she couldn't. There's nobody who could do any better. And it's not like we needed some big-breasted women to walk around. She was fine. And everything, you know, she was athletic, she was powerful, she was good. So this was kind of like a Mission Impossible sequence. This was like Zack Snyder's Mission Impossible sequence that Ben Affleck had to go in there. He had to put in the device so he could get to some encrypted information and everything. And he had like 7 minutes to do it. So he's like, well, go upstairs, find a girl, have a dance. That's what Alfred said. And I think that ended up as a deleted scene, him dancing, because I wasn't in the movie. But what was great was that in their counterpoint, in their conversation with Bruce and Clark could hear, you know, the comm. So he's like, oh, You're
Batman.
You're Batman. Right? You know what I mean? And he's about to go down, follow him down the stairs and everything.
So
And
got
then he
caught off
sees
by
that
the-
there's something going on in Rio de Janeiro and everything. There's the equivalent of a cat in a tree is a girl in a burning building. There's always a girl in a burning building.
Yeah, or a cat in the oven.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So he decides that, I'll get you later and everything. So he flies off to Rio de Janeiro, and when Bruce goes down to get the device back, Diana already got it. So he sees her, and then he's moving and everything, and she gets away, and she's faster than lightning on crack. So either way, he's like, who the hell is this woman? And now, this is what I started to think. When I heard about that Superman will be dead in this movie, I started to think about the trailers. And if you look at the trailers again, you'll see all this death imagery in the trailers, which was kind of like, oh. So, because when he brings the girl down into Rio de Janeiro, he's in a crowd of people with white skull masks.
Yeah, like
which is
I
called
was
like the
wondering.
day. Well, it's called like the Day of the Dead. It's like a celebration that they do. But it's him surrounded by all these dead bodies, kind of like how he was surrounded by the skulls.
Yeah.
But this time they're living, but it's like in a slow motion Zack Snyder sequence. It was really cool, but it also was very telling and as well. So it's powerful. So so that was all good. So I'm not gonna go over this like beat by beat, because now once we got those two together, then it becomes like, when are they gonna fight? So pretty much, I loved how they played up the mystery angle. When you talk about 2.5 hours, this movie probably initially was supposed to be, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it was. Is the fact that whether it was Chris Terrio, more than likely it was Chris Terrio, who wanted to play up this mystery of Bruce Wayne being a detective. So he discovers that it's Lex Luthor, and then he has to put in the fingers, to find him, track him down, find this kryptonite and everything, and he does. And then the Batmobile comes out, and that was awesome. You thought the Tumbler was good. This is more like some Corvette version of the Tumbler. The Batmobile, flying through the city, great firefight with the guys and the chase. It was really awesome. You could tell that's going to be the next video game. It's going to be that. You can tell that's very.
It looked like an
video
Arkham Asylum game.
Yeah, like the one you played in that Dave and Buster's.
No.
Well, it did look like that.
Yeah. It looked like that. But I'm talking about the Arkham Asylum one, like
oh right.
the one where they're inappropriate, the proper inappropriate Batman games.
It's always inappropriate. So anyway, so so he puts a tracker onto the truck, which now this was stupid. This was one of those stupid moments. His Batmobile flies through the truck, right, and rips off the roof and everything, and the guy's managed to still be alive, hanging on the truck with no roof, and the tracking device that he put on there still managed to stay on. That was kind of stupid, right? I don't care what kind of magnet she's using. That was kind of dumb, because now he knows, yes, Lex Luthor is the bad guy. He has the kryptonite and everything else like that. So, Clark decides to, hand himself in. Lex Luthor convinces this guy who has no legs, who lost his family in the Man of Steel disaster, and he decides to deface. He's the one who puts the false god on the big statue. And he decides to say, look, I'll give you a new wheelchair. I'll introduce you to the senator. You can plead your case in the court. So the guy thinks, okay, you dress me up and I'm going to go to court and everything. So he calls him out, and then Superman comes down. He floats down. It's like God up in the sky. Everybody's always looking at him in the sky, and he floats down. And when he lands, it's just like, oh my God.
I think my mum was there.
All right, okay, cool. He lands, and then it's kind of like an angel landing. All right, man. And when he lands onto Earth, right? And everything. It's like, he just walks in, he's like, bad, and everybody's looking at him and all. And he's still pissed off. He's no Boy Scout, like Christopher Reeve in Quest for Peace. He just walks in and, his presence is strong. Now, Lex doesn't like the senator, yeah? And she said something about, I grew up on a farm and I'm all this bad. And she's like, I can handle him. Right? So she's like, this man, calling you the rights. This is our system at work. And all of a sudden, she's choking. Right? It's like, what, was she poisoned? I mean, like, what's going on? Now, this I didn't understand, because this was pretty long. It was a lot of long, lingering shots. And then she's looking at the water that she's drinking, which is from some strange jug that has masking tape on it. It says, like, Granny's Peach Tree.
Yeah, it was because, like, Millie in the film, like, where she said to Lex Luthor that, like, that she's not going to do it, like, and then Lex
she's not going to drink the water.
Yeah, and then, like, she says to Lex Luthor, you can call me, like, loads of things, you can call me Granny's Peach Tree and stuff like that. So, it's basically like that.
Alright, nice one. He's watching the movie. So, then she sees the Granny Peach Tree on the thing, sees that Lex Luthor's not in his chair, but he also sacrificed his main girl. I totally don't get this, right? Because Mercy, the Asian one, was his main girl. I do not know why he told her, save me a seat, right? Unless he was trying to implicate the fact that, well, I wouldn't have done it because my main girl is there. So that's probably what it was. And that just shows you how badass he is. The guy sitting in a specialized wheelchair that they didn't check and everything. And Clark is just like, yeah, let's get this over with. And then so everybody sees that she's coughing. So she must have drank something weird with it and everything. And he doesn't check her lungs. He doesn't use his x-ray vision. He doesn't check the wheelchair, and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, what is this all about? Boom! Now that was shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was kind of like totally unexpected. Tone shift, tone change. What the hell is going on with this movie? I mean, like, kids are watching this movie. And this is probably another reason why people are upset. But it was awesome. So he's just standing there going, damn, didn't fucking check the chair. Right? That's kind of like the look on his face. Yeah. So then when he goes to Lois, he goes, I should have checked that chair, but I wasn't really paying attention. My mind is somewhere else.
Because, Lex Luthor gave the guy the chair. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So he's like, look, I don't think I can do this anymore. They don't want me. I don't want this job. So we were looking at Superman at his last leg. He was like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's what it pretty much was. He wasn't the Boy Scout. He wasn't happy. Even though they showed him saving people and all that, nobody cared. And he was just kind of like, you know what? I'm going to go out to the fortress, man. I'm out of here. So he goes out to the fortress and he meets up with Kevin Costner again, which was kind of nice. Nice father and son moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even though you're like, who's that man?
No.
Oh, right.
No.
You were like, oh, who's the man walking on the hill?
Yeah. Because he didn't look like
Superman. Yeah. Because he
had the hoodie on.
Yeah, he had the hoodie on and stuff like that and all that kind of stuff.
Like, I knew the man was like the dad. Like.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I knew that. I got that.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, look, man, you got to do what you got to do. It's like one of those moments and stuff. And everything, But so the world was like, where are you? Batman's like, where are you, man? Because, oh, wait a minute. Oh, all right. I skipped over this, so I have to say this. There was the first fight that happened before this. So Batman is going after those.
Those people.
Yeah, whatever. Bad guys. And the guys with the truck, right, when he's in the back car. And then when the car comes around the corner, Superman's just standing there and he's like, oh, shoot, yeah, right? And he bumps him and it cries, and that was fantastic. He cracks open the doors and then he tells him, when they put that bat light on, you just don't answer. Now, I don't understand the tone here, because I know that he's been trying to convince Perry that Batman is bad. Right, and everything else like that. He knows Batman is Bruce Wayne, but then Batman does the good that he does, but he thinks it's not worth it. So he says, "Don't do it. I will save these people," right, and everything like that. So he's trying to put himself above, and that's what he goes, "You bleed, you will," right, and everything like that. So that's when Batman decides, look, Lex Luthor got this kryptonite that degenerates, you Kryptonians. So I'm going to go steal it from Lex. And that's what he does. And he steals, and then he creates his own kryptonite stuff, and then he goes into the Rocky training sequence. I was hearing the music, da 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 da. He looked away. He's like, but yeah, he was badass. But it was the Rocky training sequence, pretty much. And so then he turns on the bat signal. Now, this is what people don't know, right? So it's probably like a big spoiler, is that So Clark, goes to his mom and he's like, look, she's like, you don't owe these people anything. He's like, yeah, I don't owe anybody anything. And everything, you make your own choices. Yeah, I make my own choices. Right? So he already did that. So we know the mom's there. And what happens is that Lex, because he got into, the ship, he was able to get into the history of Krypton. So he got the key that we saw in Man of Steel, and they gave him the history of the universe and all that kind of stuff, which he didn't reveal to us. But he learned how to create Doomsday inside the ship. By adding his own blood to Doomsday, he thought probably it was going to give him the ability to control Doomsday. But, either way is he created a malformation and stuff. So while that was incubating, I think he had learned Clark's identity and stuff. So when he
How did he learn his identity?
Because it's the Krypton ship. So when he said, tell me everything, the ship told him everything. It told him how Kal-El came to Earth and was raised by the Kents.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that. They didn't need to show us that, but that's what they told us that. So, out of nowhere, Martha Kent gets kidnapped. And we're like, what the? Whoa. This wasn't in the trailers. We didn't even know she was important in the movie. Mm-hmm. So she becomes the damsel, not Lois Lane. Everybody would have expected it to be Lois Lane, and it wasn't. It was Martha Kent. And that was kind of like, oh, whoa, that's different, right? And they slapped her up and she took pictures, and it's kind of, whoa, what's going on? This is pretty dark, right? And then he goes and gets Lois, right? And, so he puts all these things into motion. And so when he's on that group with Lois and he's talking about psychotic 3 little words for you and all that kind of stuff and that, he pushes her off the roof.
Jesus, I hope it's false.
Right? Now, last we saw Clark, he's heading up into the Fortress of Solitude. Lex pushes her off the roof. She screams for 2 seconds, and Superman's dead. Where he come from? Oh, did he already decide to come back? Man, she must think I'm invisible. I mean, I can do anything because you'll be there in 2 seconds, and everything like that. So he saves her, goes up, to the rooftop, and he's like, Lex, I'm going to kick your ass now. And Lex goes, yeah, I got a different plan.
You skipped the part where Batman showed
the
Diane, the person.
Right, I did.
And
right. I'm trying to jump right to the fight. All right. Okay. 2 big points. Okay. So, as I said in the beginning, Bruce Wayne's having these nightmares. And so, the Nightmare Batman, he had that nightmare. And he sees the symbol, the Omega symbol of Darkseid. He doesn't know what it is. He sees the parademons. He don't know what they are. But he sees the guys with the Superman badges and stuff. And Superman comes down and everything. So, to him, Superman's evil. Superman unmasked him and stuff like that. And, he's like, I gotta do it, right? So we had that dream. Then, because he met up with Diana, she gave him the encryption code back and everything like that. She was looking for something that Lex had. And turns out that Lex had a picture of her from the World War I, like 1912.
No, 1918.
Thank you. All right, 1918, right? So that's what she wanted. She was in her Wonder Woman regalia, and that's the Wonder Woman movie that they're shooting now. So it had Chris Pine, who was Steve Trevor, and it had these other guys who were going to be her kind of team, or Justice League, or Team Wonder Woman, and everything. So that was pretty cool to see.
What about that creepy man saying that he's Lois Lane?
Okay, I'm gonna do that. So Batman's like, so that's in reality. He sees that, so he's like, who are you, right, and all this kind of stuff. Like, this woman's like over 100 years old. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Flash comes bursting through.
Was that the Flash?
It was the Flash. It's the Flash coming through time. It was like a flashpoint moment, right? So check it out, right?
But how come he said that? But how come he said I'm Lois Lane?
No, he didn't say that. Check it out. He goes, shh. He's like, you gotta stop him. He's evil. You were right. You gotta do it. And Lois Lane is the key. That's what he said. Yeah? Save us. Help us. Yeah?
Well, help us from what? Do you say?
Well, we don't know. That's what the next movie's about.
Darkseid.
Right. Right, that's what that movie's about. So like the thing about it is that so Bruce Wayne's like, what the fuck is all these dreams? You know what I mean? And so yeah. So that's like that's our dream. Now back to where we are. So back to where we are is that he's now refined kryptonite, created these kryptonite parts.
Sorry. But what about where Batman said link to the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman?
No, that wasn't him. Oh, he sent it to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman was on a plane.
Didn't that happen after the fight? No.
No, because that Wonder Woman went on a plane, and then she jumped off the plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got the Dawn of Justice scene, right? Awesome scene this was. I mean, what happens is that Batman finds out that Wonder Woman is 100 years old, and then we cut to Diana Prince, who's got her encryption code and everything. He's telling her, "I know who you are," and he sends her these files, and they have metahuman files. And they got the symbols for Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg.
It said red streak for Flash, and it
was a lightning bolt, yeah. And so you could click on it and said red streak like a chat, a chat, yeah. And so.
Can I say the scene? Because
okay, I will. So she clicks on the Flash.
And then basically, so it has the guy in a shop, and then caught by security cameras, and then this robber points a gun at the shop owner, and then he sees what's happened, and then he's got a bread in his hand, so basically he stops the robbery guy, and then
in a flash.
In a flash with a red streak.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for Aquaman, I don't know, these guys are taking him off or something.
No. So for Aquaman, he was under the water, of course, right? And everything, and all of a sudden, first you saw the glowing eyes. You're like, whoa, what the hell is glowing eyes? Because you can see underwater. And then he comes out in full tattoo glory with the trident and everything, with the long flowing black hair. And he was like, yeah, he was. And he was like, get that camera out my face. And then there was another camera that showed him that streak off and stuff. So that was awesome. And then we get this really crazy Fantastic Four body morphia kind of craziness with Cyborg.
So basically this guy
his dad, which is played by Joe Morton.
You see the body.
You just see
his
torso.
The upper chest and the head part of Cyborg, and basically
legs over
he's
there.
trying to help him and he's trying to help his son be human, but then he makes him into it's like Frankenstein's monster.
Very much so, but he doing it as if it's a recorded log.
Yeah.
So then what happens is that we get this kind of crazy box. It's like a mother box, even in a way, and the box goes and turns him from half a man into a cyborg.
Oh, help! He's and then he cuts the camera.
Yeah, exactly. So all of these leading into their solo stories and to the Justice League, and so that was the Dawn of Justice segment. That was there. So now can I do now with the big fight scene?
Yes, now you can.
Okay, so then comes the big fight scene. Batman puts on the searchlight and everything, and Lex Luthor's like, yes, the fight is about to begin. Superman's on the roof with Lex, and he goes, I'll take you out. And he's like, no, I got your girl. He's like, you ain't got my girl. She's downstairs on the street. He's like, no. Everybody really loves his mother. Right, exactly. He's like, what? Come on, Clark, you know I know you out here. He's like, what? And then he's like, I got your money. He's flipping cards, the pictures of her, all gagged and tied. And he's like, what? And that's how he ends up on his knees.
In the trailer,
and why Lex touches him on his head, because he's like, I need you to go and fight Batman now and bring me his head.
Because when I saw the trailer and Superman was on his knees, I was convinced that
he was mind controlled.
Yeah, because of the kryptonite or something.
Yeah, and that's what was great, because in the trailers we were led to believe that Lex Luthor probably has him. That's why he's all stiff and doing all these crazy things. We were led to, but actually that's what I'm trying to say. The tone change was he wasn't being mind controlled by Lex at all, but he was being bribed by him in that scene, because look, I got your mother, and you got an hour. Right, you got to go over there and make that fight with Batman. Right, let's punch it out and everything. And so he's about to fry him with his laser beams, and he's like, you're running out of time. Now you got only like about 40 minutes.
No, 30 minutes.
30. Well, yeah, but countdown anyway. So yeah. So then Clark's like, I gotta go. You know what I mean?
I gotta help.
So what he does is he manages to tell Lois that I gotta either ask him to help me or I gotta kill him. And I didn't know I'd be in this situation again, like the Zod situation and everything. So, which means he might have not killed the African guy, just wounded him pretty bad. And then so he goes off. Now we're going into the fight, right? And Lois is like, okay, I'm gonna go over there too, and all that kind of stuff. And everything. So we have the big Batman Superman fight.
It's like that scene with him. It's like that scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2 where like Peter Parker's like, I gotta stop Electrode, and like Gwen's like, I'm coming with you, and he's like, no,
right.
no, you're not. You're staying here.
Yeah. Not exactly, because then she died. So anyway, we got the big fight sequence, and it was really cool because it was like give and take. So because of the kryptonite gas, it would wear off, so it would only last for such a time. So it would be like Batman would have Superman at disadvantage, Superman would have Batman at disadvantage. Boom, 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 bastic, everything, the big fight and all that. So that was all kind of cool.
And then basically,
but then he pulls out the spear, which is what everybody was waiting for from the white Portuguese and all that they got. And so now comes this sequence that Ian Salmon was talking about. And so this is what I want to really stress very importantly. So Batman has Superman on the ropes. To the point where he even does the whole scars his face and everything with that kryptonite spear. And he's like, he's going to take him out, right? He's full of rage. And Superman is like, save Martha, right? And he's like, say what? Why'd you say that? Save Martha. And he's like,
who's Martha?
Yeah, like, who's Martha? Like, who's Diana?
Why'd you say that name?
Like, yeah. And yeah, exactly. Because he's like, wait a minute, you might know I'm Bruce. Well, cuz if I know you're Bruce Wayne, then I know who your mind is. But, like, why? What are you talking about? And everything. So Lois manages to get there just in time, right? Flying over from one side to the other. She managed to get there just in time to, come in and say, it's his mom, right? And he's like, his mother.
And then, like, he throws his spear, then he's like, throws his spear,
his
like,
mother's name. And he's like, his mother's name is the same as my mother? No, oh God, what am I doing? Right? And so he throws the spear, Now, Ian's right, where this scene could have been done better. It could have been written better. It could have been performed better. It had a bit of hokey and cheese. But what I liked about it is that as a long-time comic fan, I never put two and two together that it has always been that Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent's mother had the same name.
Yeah, because when you think of Martha, you think of Thomas. So
exactly. He talks more about his dad than his mom.
Yeah.
So you always hear the Thomas name and everything else like that.
Who does
and on all the incarnations of the Smallville and the Superman shows and stuff, you hear Martha's name. But it was like I just didn't personally put it together. So to me, it was like a light bulb moment. And so what they had to do for the stupid people is they had to keep cutting back to the grave to show that Bruce Wayne's mom's name was Martha Wayne. And everything like that. So, and they go, oh, supposed to be like a light bulb, and everything. So now it's like, yes, I'll save her. So, okay, so now Superman is got to go to the ship where Doomsday is being born, and Batman's like, I will save your mother. Trust me, I will do this because it's him saving his own mom. That's the motivation in. It's the motivation that brought them together with their mothers, and that makes perfect sense. It was poorly constructed, but it does make sense that, this is their bond. And you're giving me a chance because as a kid, I couldn't save my mother, and now I can save your mother, and that's me saving my mom. Right? You get that, right?
Yeah, because,
I thought that was excellent motivation. Pain. So now, so now we get that whole brutal fight sequence. Excellent done. Alfred is remote controlling the bat plane. Batman goes in on the second floor, comes up to the third floor. No Krav Maga here, man. Super fighting and everything. All to rescue Martha Kent. I didn't know that. I didn't see that in the trailer. We just thought Batman was fighting bad guys. I didn't know he was rescuing his spiritual mom right there. So that was awesome. I love that and everything. I
And
just
then-
thought that bad guys would have just fried
And
the
then
bomb.
next scene was like, release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
You know, from Star Wars? He was like,
Yeah, I know the line. Release.
And
Oh
then-
yeah, release the
because,
Kraken.
like-
Oh yeah,
oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
it's Doomsday. You're right.
Yeah,
No.
wait,
Clash of
wait.
Titans. Release the
I
Kraken.
remember something else because then like Superman comes in and then like Lex Luthor is like, oh, you're late. I guess I'm gonna have to break the bad news. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, because
they
his
all
bell
die.
goes off. Ding, you're late. Sorry.
bad
Oh
news.
no, he says, oh, the roast must be ready because she's supposed to be fried and everything. And then so he calls, and then Batman's like, I'm coming to get you or something like that. He's like, what? Now instead of just zipping in and frying Lex Luthor, Superman listens to him. Right? And he goes, oh, okay. Ooh, plan B. Guess what? I got something baking in the oven too. And release the Kraken because it's like now here comes Doomsday out of the amniotic sac and everything and stuff like that.
It's
So
all
here's the
gross
big
and
Superman.
all.
Now, this is the point I wanted to make. And I was going to tell you about it, and now it's time to talk about it. So,
Okay, let's listen to Chase.
when we saw Doomsday in the trailer, we were like, what the hell, man? I thought this was Batman versus Superman. And boy, if we looked at the beginning of this, you said this is a Batman movie. This is probably where the problem of the movie is in the editing or just in the movie itself, is that it switched here from a Batman movie to a Trinity movie, right? Because, Wonder Woman's on the plane, conflicted. Should I go to this fight? Right? I guess I will. Dun, 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 right? And it's like the Magnificent Seven and stuff. I expected the Flash and Aquaman to show up. That would have been really cool. But either way is that, like, whose movie is it now? Batman's already rescued the damsel in distress. Movie's over. But no, Lex got a plan B, and that's the Doomsday. So now it's turned into it turns into that famous story from the comics. It was all an original story until now. Now it turns into Superman versus Doomsday. So now we got the Superman.
Lex says to Superman,
He calls him Doomsday. He calls him
Doomsday. Like he says, this is going to be your Doomsday. Or something.
Right. This is gonna be your Doomsday.
The holiday.
Right. So
That's 25th
anyway, so
Doomsday.
now we're into the famous comic, Superman versus Doomsday, and in that comic, it only has one ending. Right. Nobody expected this. We thought, hey, Batman and Superman are gonna fight. They're gonna hug it out and everything like that. And then in the end, it's gonna be, hey, you think we should form a Justice League? Yeah, I think we should form a Justice League. And so no, it turns into the Superman versus Doomsday, where Superman sacrifices himself, right, for the greater good. So now he's like, he says to Lois, this is my planet. I'm no longer an alien now. This is my planet. And I have to do whatever I can. What?
You forget the part where like Lois has that spear thing and she throws it away
I didn't forget
stupidly.
it.
And then basically she gets trapped in the water and then she presses on the rock so that Superman could hear it and she flies and then saves her and all that stuff. And then he says what yours looks like.
Okay. I didn't forget it. I just, I was jumping ahead. I mean, okay, well, then I should also say that Wonder Woman on Turkish Airlines decides to go and join the battle, and then she shows up just in time, with her bracelets of steel to block one of Doomsday's death blasts, right? And everything, and then so she's fighting, Superman's fighting, and Batman's like,
And
hey,
then,
all I got is a gun.
And then
What
can
I do? All I got is a gun.
And then Superman's like, is she with you? Then Batman's like, oh, I thought she was with you.
Yeah. And that line did kind of work because because what happened is that when Superman shows up and he's kind of like, she with you? This girl's kind of badass. Now, why Batman says I thought she was with you is I think it doesn't really that work because I know, but it doesn't work because he knows who she is because he discovered it in the detective work. Unless he's just saying, well, she's a metahuman and you're a metahuman and. I thought she was with you. Don't you know her? And so Superman's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, it fell flat. But, so anyway, so there's the big fat fight, and she was fantastic. It's all special effects, green screen, all that kind of stuff, giant. But because the more you hit Doomsday, the more he grows, and his bone protrusions were growing. So
and he
when we
looks
just
more
saw
and
the
more like the comic dude.
yeah, exactly. So when we were seeing that first clip, you didn't see that his body was reforming and his bones were breaking out. So all of that does happen in the big battle and everything. And then what happened was is that so what happened then? Oh, so yeah, so Lois, this was kind of stupid, right? Because it happened like within 5 minutes of each other. So what happened was is like when Batman goes to save Clark's mom, Clark flies off and Lois is left with the kryptonite staff. So she's like, well, I should do something with this. So she decides to throw it into the water under the building and everything like that. Like, if that's enough, right? So she throws it there. And then, I guess she's staying there. The battle's all happening. And she somehow got x-ray vision or whatever. I don't know. She finds out or figures out the same thing that Batman figures out, which is stupid because how can they both figure the same thing out at the same time? So Batman says, look, I can't do nothing here in this battle with this guy, but I could go back and get that spear, right? So so she comes up with the same thing. Hey, I think I just heard Batman. Maybe we got them comms in our ears. I could go get that spear. So I know what the spear is because I threw it in there. So then she goes back to the well where she dropped it in. And because, the fight's all happening, laser beams, buildings falling. So the building's caving in on her. And so now she's trapped underwater for a good 5 minutes.
She presses.
It was like about a good 5 minutes, She's a very good swimmer. So yeah, she's banging on the thing. Same thing like in Superman Returns. You know what I mean? With the water thing. I don't understand. But, of course, Clark is doing the whole fire beams with the eyes and stuff. But then he's like, ooh, I can hear that tapping. That's Lois tap. And he flies over across the water again, go rescue Lois, just in time. And instead of having to, press on her chest, because he probably would cave her chest in, she goes... like he brings her out of the water. She was under the water for 5 minutes. And all she does is go...
Yeah. But you know what was kind of funny? In the movie, when she was coughing, just up that I was coughing, I was
were you coughing?
yeah, I was like, oh my god, what the hell?
What the hell is right? You know what I mean? So, anyway, so he saves her, and then he realizes that, well, shoot, I'm here, right? I'm going to go down, and I'm going to get the staff. So when he gets the staff, right, he's close to the staff, so he's weak, so she pulls him out of the water, and she throws the staff away, and everything like that. And they can see Doomsday fighting Wonder Woman and Batman. That's when he's swinging around the buildings and stuff. What am I going to do? I'm totally useless here. And so that's when he realizes, I have to do it. I have to sacrifice myself for the greater good, for my planet. And all that kind of stuff. And wait a minute. Oh, wait. Now I'll admit I missed something. Superman was first fighting Doomsday.
Oh yeah.
And then he takes him into space, like in the comics. He takes him into space. But then there's a choice made for man, human being, right? Where it's like, look, we could set off a missile. They're free in space, and we could set off a missile. And Harry Lennox says, yo, that'll kill Superman. You can't do that. He's like, you got to make a decision. Make the decision. And then they decide to do it. Bad people. I don't know why we're trying to save them. Right? So anyway, so they shoot a nuclear rocket off into space. Right? Superman's fighting Doomsday, pushing him further out of space. And, well, yeah, I was going to say that. So when it's an actual nuclear warhead, but instead of killing Doomsday, all it does is it separates him from Superman and brings him back to Earth. So he manages to land onto this island.
And then he goes more stronger.
And gets more stronger.
And then the guy says the more times we hit him, the more he's gonna get stronger.
Right. So we can't shoot another missile at him. And they say he's unkillable. And they say, well, what happened to Superman? He's like, well, you blew him up. He's not coming back. You know what I mean? And so they cut to him in space because he's hit with the nuclear warhead in space. He's all like a skeleton. He's like
Bizarro.
He's like Bizarro. He's like the Superboy and thing. He's all malnourished and stuff. But of course, the sun comes up and he gets his powers back, and that's what brings him back to Earth and brings him back to the thing we just talked about. So the thing about it is, so now Superman sacrifices himself. And to kill Doomsday with the kryptonite spear, and he's so close that he's weak, and then So
because like Batman sets off that little smoke screen thing.
Well, that was only the week. That was only so we see the lasso. Wait. We see the lasso of truth.
Yeah.
Right. So Wonder Woman's got Doomsday trapped in the lasso of truth. The golden lasso. Batman shoots him with the kryptonite grenade.
Yeah.
And then Superman comes in. So it made a big Trinity move, pretty much. Superman comes in with the final blow with the spear and sacrifices himself.
Yeah, because he stabs him. Sorry, he stabs him and then he stabs him and then he stabs him back and then they all stab.
Yeah, because he got those bone protrusions. So Doomsday's like, "Hey, you stabbing me? I'm gonna stab you," and everything like that. So yeah, and and then it becomes like that final scene in the comic where Lois is holding Superman, in her arms. And I mean, I'm surprised they didn't have the flag, his cape waving like a flag like they did. But so Superman's dead, and Batman realizes that he was wrong. He's like, "Oh, he's a better man."
And then in the newspaper it says Clark is dead because
Well, yeah, because they had to play off that Clark died in that battle somehow, like as a reporter and everything, and so what they did is that to even show that he was dead, is that he gave his body to his mother. They gave Clark to the mom, right? So they had a funeral.
You forgot about that joke.
What joke?
Where Batman saves Martha, and then Batman's like, "I'm with Superman, by the way," and Martha's like, "Yeah, I can tell because of the cape." I forgot about that.
No, that was a good one though. Yeah, I can tell because of the cape. Oh, that was so nice. That was a good one. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good one. And so anyway, so now we get into the sad bit, So this is where we get into Funeral for a Friend, which is excellent. It was an excellent follow-up aftermath to the death of Superman.
It reminded me of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, how that ended.
Yeah, but this was better because, on the one hand, is what I didn't. I was kind of hoping that we would have gotten, the Justice League in their regular clothes at this funeral. So what they did was they had a military funeral with a black coffin for Superman, going through the city, and then they had a private funeral for Clark in Smallville, where Martha and Lois was, and Bruce and Diane actually went to that funeral. So they had one of those conversations in the trees, where he says, we got to do something about this, and I think, with those metahumans that you found, we need to actually form a team. She's like, why? And he's like, because something's coming. Wait, let me do it in my Ben Affleck. Something's coming. And she's like, and that's supposed to end off with the dreams. I had dreams, something's coming, and we need to form a team. And
then
so we know who that team is because we just saw them.
Then Lois gets she puts her hand with mud and then she puts it down in the coffin and then
that's the thing that you do.
And then and basically at the end it's what the mud's moving. It's
all right, well, don't jump ahead. So this is where they say that this had a 3-beat ending because there was no after credits, but it was all these different beats. It's is the movie over? Is the movie over? Is the movie over? Kind of beats.
Oh wait, and then Lex is up prison, so he got caught.
That's what I was gonna say. It's one of the beats. So Lex shaves his head. They shave Lex's head. He doesn't shave. Because he's in prison. They shave his head. But Batman comes to see him in prison, and he tells him, I'm coming after you, Lex. Even though Lex is in prison, you know what I mean? But then Lex is like, yeah, well, something's coming. Something's in the dark. They heard us. They're out in space. Side? Yeah. They're on the dark side of the moon, I guess. Something's in space. They heard us. They heard that the god is dead. And so now they're coming and everything. And so that was pretty cool, where it's foretelling and stuff. And, but also it was tender with Martha and Lois because Clark had sent an engagement ring, for Lois. So she's wearing it at the funeral when she picks up the dirt you talked about and puts it onto the coffin. And so, and the final moment is that we're on the actual coffin because the body that's in the black coffin, whatever that is, nobody knows. But what's in the actual coffin, it says Clark is in the actual coffin. The last shot is that, dirt kind of rises for a millisecond and cuts and stuff. So, as I was saying before, is that we got Funeral for a Friend, and then we're going to have the resurrection. So more than likely, what's going to happen is that we're going to have Wonder Woman, and then with the Justice League will be the rise of Superman. So this will probably give Henry Cavill a chance to, one, wear the black suit. That the coffin was a black coffin with the the white S on it, and two, give him a chance to change his hairstyle, to have the long hairstyle. So there was a lot of religious allegory in this film. It was very like Christ-like.
Catholic and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was very Christ-like as far as I was
Yeah.
gonna say, as far as the resurrection and all that kind of stuff. Also, too, is because of that battle with Darkseid.
Is it a coincidence that that in UK they had they released the film in the UK 3 days before Easter?
Oh God, no.
Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence or did they intentionally did that because Easter's gonna do something with Jesus?
I do think you're right. I think you're right that was an intentional thing.
Weird.
But because they didn't tell anybody what the movie was, that it wasn't about that, because they usually release movies at this time period. But that is kind of telling that now that you know that the movie is about death and potential resurrection, that Easter turns into a great weekend.
Having an Easter film.
Right. So, anyway, I love the film. That was a complete overview of it, and Jess was on point, make sure that it hit every beat of the film and everything. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
I know you watch me. I'm watching you and watch me. And so in that aspect, we love the movie. I hope that if you watch the spoilers, that will inspire you to say. I was also trying to leave some bit for them to see on their own. Now we told them the whole movie.
So,
spoiler free, right? Yeah,
it's not like this is going clear in it. It's just going on for 2 hours. Oh, only 1 hour. So technically we only told them half of the movie.
Yeah, okay. But no, we're not going to talk for another hour either.
Well, obviously no.
Yeah, no. That'd be like if we were doing a commentary.
Because I saw you skip stuff, but I wasn't gonna say anything because those scenes didn't really matter. No one